Hey everybody, welcome to Gaming Fancy, and I hope you're strapped in, you got a comfortable bed, got some juice on you.
Nice, you have lumbar support on your chair.
You got some really nice like Beats headphones or something, because this is gonna take a while.
Yeah, this might take a long time.
We are here to review PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
By the way,
this is Gaming Fancy.
It's Gaming Fancy. You are
soramstr, and you are
Camelot0001.
Right, so
and yes, we will be talking about this game, which will take a year and a day. Well, let's just get through it as fast.
Let's start right now. Okay, so first thing, concept.
Not really one. Just throw a bunch of PlayStation people together.
Put them in there, have fun.
Yep.
Graphics, not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Looks good. I particularly like how it looks on the Vita. Transitions very well.
It looks really clear and really crisp. So yeah, that's good. Sound.
The stage music mashups are good.
They're
I like
really
them.
nice. They have like they're like a nice little Skrillex mix into like two different games, which is fun. However, the music for the menus is,
I think this can probably go on the graphics as well.
Yeah,
because the menu system
is horrible.
Is just bad.
It's
I was like, what?
You can't even like keep characters that you selected after a match. You have to reselect everybody unless you do keep AI. But then if you accidentally hit circle and go back in, or you go through a match without doing the keep AI, you come back and you have to reselect everybody.
Yeah. So just the way that the menu and the mechanics of how you actually start and play matches is archaic. It's just like
you could have done way better. You should have released a patch for that. Playability. I'd say it's easy to pick up with certain characters.
Yeah, so when it first came out, you just saw nothing with Kratos.
There's a lot of Raidens.
Yeah.
Who else was there? There was a lot of slides, actually.
There were a lot of slides.
And Sackboy.
Sackboy and Drake too, maybe.
Drake because of the barrel, I think.
Yeah, that barrel was like God's gift to Drake players.
It was so OP.
So OP.
But yeah, totally playable, and there's other characters where you'd have to actually put some effort into learning how to play them.
Yeah.
It still is really entertaining.
Still is. I played that game every day.
I know I've had times where I'm just like, I'm sick of this game, and then like a day later I'm like, I kind of want to play that again.
That's my whole relationship with this game. It's like I hate this game, but I love it.
I don't know what it is about it. It's just really fun until you get into those really cheap ass online fights.
That like I just reminders like that you shouldn't probably be doing
this, but you still want to. Alright, replay value.
Replay value.
Yeah, it's still in there. And then the DLC, whenever something comes out or whenever they do a patch, you kind of want to see what's
been different to hopefully redeem itself.
Yeah, like the latest one, I think from today, 4/4/2013.
What does this one do?
That was the one that came out with Zeus and Isaac. I think that's the latest one that's come out so far. I can't remember. But that one nerfed a lot of players, buffed a few people.
Tried to balance some people.
Yeah, what they did with Sly was something that I really appreciated, which was the counter doesn't last 2 seconds or something. It's like you have to actually time the counter now. With Raiden, they made his forward circle attack more punishable if you like block it. But it also made his down throw go into a combo with Jack. You said that
his forward triangle doesn't push the person back like it normally did, so then they're not like rolling back after they get shot.
But
his level 2 has been completely buffed to be awesome. Because if people are near you when you do it, you can freeze them, and then they'll be ripe for the picking. Plus, if you hit people as you're jumping up, you also kill them that way too.
Yeah, and Ratchet has had a bit of a buff with this level 1 super, which it actually will aim up or down a little bit in inclines, making it easier to kill people that aren't exactly level with you, which was a problem with some of Ratchet's attacks.
Oh yeah, and Sly's level 1 can get interrupted if he gets hit.
Sly's level 1 can finally get interrupted. That was something that a lot of people complained about, and I know Sly doesn't have much going for him in general, and little things could help, but there's also like the fact that there's no other level 1 that can't be interrupted like his, which kind of sucks, and his level 2 isn't horrible. It's okay, so I mean it's not... It was something that I kind of found a relief. A lot of other stuff, Cat got nerfed a little bit, but then some of our other stuff got buffed. Drake's barrel got nerfed.
If you hit it before it explodes, it won't.
It won't explode on you. Yeah, there's a few things that happen.
Everybody got something, and we don't know. I don't know everyone specifically, but just because we play, he plays Ratchet, and I play as
Jack. But yeah, a lot of things. But that also keeps you coming back. Like, oh, maybe now it won't be as bad. And people always just find another cheap person to use.
Yeah, they just like circulate. Like, who's the cheapest person?
Now.
Whoop, lost my main.
Combat system. This is gonna take a while.
Yeah, I mean,
Cameron.
I don't even know where to begin.
Camelot has a.
You can use my Christian name.
This is something that you have a big problem with, which is the combos themselves.
I feel like people just you can get kills so easily after you catch someone with just one attack. So like, I think Evil Cole is the perfect example. He can do that rush move where he just kind of comes in, flies in, and as soon as if it connects, then he can use a super. I think I know that's like how the game plays, I just think it's a really cheap kind of game.
And in this, it is only fair to have an opposing opinion. And I think, personally, that everybody has that option in one of their supers to either combo or trap into it, which is, I mean, there's some characters that can't trap into a super, so they have to combo into it, or else they just have to, like, find a moment where it was, oh, now I can get these guys. You know what I mean? So it's, in a way, it's like, you have the thing that we were talking about before, you have defensive and offensive characters.
And before we had a discussion that was probably like an hour-long discussion about...
which we're going to try to condense here.
Yeah.
But
about the defensive and offensive people in this game.
But basically, what did you conclude from that?
For the type of game that this is, which is, I mean, their stock matches which gives people more of a chance, but time matches favor the person who is more rush down and more offensive and more aggressive, more than people who have to keep their distance. Unless it's with certain people, because Sackboy and Radic can cause hell in those instances. But there are people who like don't have, who are kind of in the middle, as far as being defensive but not as offensive, and they're like the ones who are just fucked.
Yeah, and then my argument to that is, somebody like let me compare two of our original mains, which are Sly and Raiden. Now, Sly is clearly a defensive character, no doubt about it. You can't exactly be offensive with him, and Raiden is completely rushed down. Sly, if you're fighting with Raiden going against 3 people, or if you're fighting with Sly against 3 people, you have more of a chance actually with Sly than you do with Raiden, because you can still build AP while playing keep away. Raiden needs to go in there and fight, and at that point, like in the middle of a combo, he'll get fucked in the ass by like a sweet tooth that decides, oh, let me just jump in there now because he's busy.
Sorry, kids.
And it's like there's a give and take to it. There's a balance to it, because either you can be a good defensive player with some of the defensive characters, or you can be a good offensive player with some of the offensive characters. And there's ways to build your AP and ways to get into supers with those characters if that's how you fight. So in that sense, I think it's more balanced. But I do get that offensive players are rewarded a lot more than defensive players.
And I don't know. I mean, I love the game, but I don't like the AP system. It encourages people to, like you said, it encourages you to do the cheapest thing possible just so you can get AP.
Yeah, something
and then do
like
a super that's unavoidable.
Like you'll see a Sackboy staying in the corner, throwing those little jelly balls, throwing the little electric plates, throwing the cake, building up a super, and while you're fighting his teammate, oh, what the fuck? Sackboy just got his level 2. Here comes the fire, and you're screwed. Same thing with Radic. Radic could just stay in the back, get you with that sniper or whatever. Just build up his AP. It doesn't reward actual skilled gamers. It rewards...
Or taking a risk or anything like that. You could just be lazy.
It just rewards AP grinding. And that's one of the bigger faults that I see.
Yeah. Almost game breaking for me.
Yeah.
It's when you have to deal, it's when I've been playing matches and it's like the third match where someone's just trying to do that, where I'm like, I'm just gonna stop because this is not...
It just takes it away from you. Like, you know you're doing alright, and that person is just kind of like hiding in the back, throwing grenades out and stuff, and then they finally get their level 2 or level 3, and you're just like, really? Another thing is, something that made me want to stop playing for like the rest of the day. One time I was we were having a little sparring session, Camelot and I. He was jacking out his ratchet. No, I didn't put it up. I have it.
Put that up.
But the thing is, it's gonna look like you dominated over me, and I just gave up after a while. I was like done with that.
Can you just put that up for me?
Alright, I'll put it up, and I'll put it also as a video response to this.
Okay, alright. Then and then the viewers can decide.
But okay, so the big issue in that is, now as a person playing this game, there's some times where you can kind of feel an attack coming, and you'll just dodge roll right before that attack comes out. I did that a number of times in this fight, also online, but specifically this fight. And in the middle of that dodge roll, I would get grappled. I could be halfway across his body, I could be halfway through my dodge roll away from him, and he'd still grapple me.
But like Daxter's reaching over my shoulder and pulling you, because like, you would be mid-dodge, and you would still
fucking grapple me. And that bug, that is not, I mean, how can you be like in the middle of dodging an attack and still be grappled? I get grappling while somebody's blocking, because that's the generic way of punishing a block, is grappling. But
does dodging really even have that much priority in this game? I can't remember when I've dodged either avoid a projectile or like...
Dodging has actually a lot of priority over like some supers and some projectiles. But
I know in Smash, but
don't go there.
I'm not
yet.
Comparing, but I'm just saying. Well, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Smash Brothers, I could do a dodge roll when Samus does her little cannon thing, and I don't think it would hit me. No, but in this game, I feel like it would still hit you.
You know, like when I'm doing Ratchet's level 1, if you're like right about to get hit and you dodge roll past me, you won't get hit, or you dodge roll away, or you like something that a lot of people would do is like when they're falling, and my level 1 is going on, they'll do the air dodge in the air right before they hit, so they don't get hit by the thing, and then they'll dodge as soon as they land on the ground. So in that sense, they're landing and moving while my level 1 super is still going. Which I guess, if you're good enough to do that, you're fine. But the fact that a dodge doesn't dodge a grapple, even if the dodge started before the grapple started, that bothered the hell out of me. And I'm going to be putting out a lot of my pride in this one by putting that video up.
Oh, please do.
It's a long video.
It is a long video.
That was a long fight. There was a lot of dodging and avoiding each other.
A lot of dodging and grappling.
Yeah. A lot of grappling, not so much dodging after a while. But yeah, that you'll see what I mean with that one. And finally, The level 3 super, some of them aren't really worth the effort.
Yeah, all supers aren't created equal.
Yeah, some of them is like a 1 kill or group kill and that's it. And if you're fighting 2v2, that's only going to get you 2 kills.
And they made some supers just for the spectacle of seeing them.
Yeah.
Just to pay fan service, which isn't horrible,
like
but they should still
Heihachi
have some
thing.
kind of functionality as well. And Heihachi just launching 3 people from a rocket,
I mean,
or
that's
Spike
like,
eliminating 3 people when Kratos can grow and like kill 7.
yeah,
Or like Sackboy can kill, I think probably
a good
6
Sackboy can go like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
people.
2 rounds.
Yeah. And that Naruko.
I tried her level 3 super yesterday, and I swear the meter was all the way down, and I did like 2 more attacks with her.
It's like the music stops and she still keeps fighting.
She can kick ass way after the meter runs out.
So I mean, some of them are great, some of them are like, why even bother? I mean, with Heihachi,
take
you
like
would just
5
stay at
seconds.
2. With Heihachi, you're perfectly fine staying at his level 2 super, because that bear rips ass. Literally and figuratively rips ass.
Bear hangs dong.
And yeah, and it's you mentioned that the making each character unique is a pro and a con.
Yeah, which would let's talk about that now because it's probably the best point.
Yeah, and then we won't talk about unique characters later.
Having each person specialized in this game is probably its biggest. Like the biggest pro and the biggest con for it for me, because it makes each person their own thing, but it tears away. But it kind of separates you from the other players. So your strategy is like, I'm in my own world. I have approached this game this way, and it means it's kind of like fuck you to the other rules of the game. Because you can have Radek who's like, I'm a sniper. Like in my game, that makes sense. But in this game, that means that I go all the way across the screen and snipe someone for days. And
well,
it's just
like all the actual hand-to-hand combat, people
are
have
forced
to catch him.
Yeah, to run across and try to get to him, which is just like it cheapens the experience because it's like no one has to do anything that's kind of similar and requires the same skill. It's like unless you have a mirror match, and that's when it gets to be like the game's really actually kind of equal and it's like a battle of
wits,
equal opportunity. Yeah, wits and equal. Yeah. But other than that, it's like, how can I really stop you when it's like...
I think I mentioned, if you're a Sweet Tooth, and you're fighting somebody like Radek, and your slow ass has to get across the screen to catch him, and then he finds a way to get past you again and get to the other side of the screen, you're gonna get terrorized by that guy.
And you're just gonna have a hard time, because there's nothing that kind of equals the playing field for you two.
Yeah, there's some that are obviously overmatched, or mismatched, in the game. But, you know, there's games where not everything's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, in a fighting game.
Alright, so this is gonna be the part where, we're gonna have a lot of... It's something that everybody talks about. We're gonna be comparing it to other fighting games, other brawlers, really. And let's start out with the obvious Super Smash Brothers. How would you compare it since you're a big Super Smash Brothers person?
Yeah, well, this ties into one of my biggest gripes about it.
This is where you can actually finally...
Because Super Smash Brothers, that all the characters in the game kind of have things that are in common. They have their up and B move with, a couple people like Yoshi or someone occasionally like having just a long second jump move or something. But there are things that everybody can do, and I feel like that makes that
Jigglypuff sing for no reason. When you're trying to save yourself, as you fall down.
But it like still gives the game its own physics, and it gives people rules that they have to follow.
No, it feels like no matter who you're playing, you're still playing the same game.
Yeah, and PlayStation All-Stars, I don't get that feeling most of the time. Like you're in a completely different. The rules that you can follow and break are completely different from mine.
Which also is not so much a bad thing.
Not so bad.
It's a good and bad.
Because you don't want what would happen in Mortal Kombat, which is like everyone can throw something, everyone can do an uppercut, everyone can do a sweep kick.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want something that's just like clone copy versus clone copy 2. But then again, you don't want something where it's like, I'm a gun and I'm bursting like an orange.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because no contest. Because Mutip is the orange. But I still feel like in Super Smash Bros. You still have that, like, that character that separates that person from another person. Like a Kirby is still different from
Mario, which is different from Link, which is different from Samus.
Yeah. And you do like have what, like you said, people who are more rehashed, most likely in Super Smash Bros. Because
like
you have Mario and Luigi.
And you get like Link and Young Link. And
like the only differences are in like traction, and one's more nimble than the other, but one can jump higher or something like that.
One's more powerful, but one's a little faster. And,
So you have that, but I mean, I would rather have that than have something where it's like people are so different that it makes the game unfair to someone who's playing.
Now, and one that I can compare it to a little bit, I don't know how many people have played that, but I mean, PlayStation people should have at least tried it out. It's Dissidia, Final Fantasy Dissidia, where, I know you haven't played that, but if you compare the gameplay, I think Dissidia takes a lot more skill than PlayStation All-Stars, because the way that it works in that one is you have to basically grind down their health, but you first off have to take out their I don't know what it's called. I haven't played it in a while, but it's another, like, it's a number. They have to whittle down to 0 before you can actually start taking health. And there's certain attacks that take that number down, and there's certain attacks that take the health down. And the more times you take that number down, the more your number builds, and so on. So you actually have to have the skill to actually hit them and take their points and take their life and then win, as opposed to just grinding AP in the corner and, oh god, that's super now, let me kill somebody.
Yeah.
And just winning off of that. So in that sense, I feel like this game could have been a lot more skill based than anything.
And I'll just say, because it's weird, because there is some skill involved.
There's definitely people that need to know how to fight with certain characters.
And I fought people where I was like, well, you set me up, that was good. But it's also for those people who are really lazy and just want to, like, get enough points to do a super. So it's like, almost.
You're almost there, guys. And as far as originality goes for this game, not the biggest breakthrough in video game concepts. It's been done before. Super Smash Bros. Obviously.
And this boss is the most uninspired, lazy.
It was who
the fuck is this head boss?
You got this random guy that nobody really knows about. And then he throws out the fighting polygon team.
It's the fighting polygon team.
You don't think you're gonna be like thinking about Super Smash Bros. When you see that. That was like the biggest slap in the face to anybody who's ever played Super Smash Bros. And
it's like, we're not trying to be them. Yes, you are at this point, because this is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Except you don't fight the head, you just fight what he summons.
And the biggest difference between this game and something like Dissidia or Super Smash Bros. Or even Battle Stadium DOM is that
you just want to get that Battle Stadium
I want to get that in there.
For anybody who knows what that, who has actually played it, not even like knows what it is, who's actually played
Japan
it.
Only release though.
But people who've gotten it imported.
Right. The difference is, like, you get kills by building up a meter. You don't get kills by knocking somebody out. You don't get kills by whittling them down. You don't get kills by having the most points at the end of the match. It's just, how many kills can I get before the time runs out or something? And can I build up a meter enough to get something strong enough to actually kill people without having to actually try too hard? So I mean, that's the biggest difference for me, is it rewards cheap gameplay before anything else.
Yeah.
And these next two criteria is going to be really small. One is the unique characters, which we already talked about.
Yeah, the other very unique.
Yeah, they're all completely different, except for the coals.
Except for those coals.
Because why would you put in a good coal and an evil coal? Why wouldn't you do like in I can't think of it right now, but there's a few games where you have the option of playing like one guy, or playing like, I think there was one Soul Calibur where you could play as either Siegfried or Nightmare. Like that was the same character. It was just Siegfried, or you can do the second skin being Nightmare, and that was cool. They could have done something with that with Cole, instead of and then pulled in somebody that people actually wanted to play as, Spyro or Crash, and not wasted that spot.
Yeah,
because that is a waste.
You can probably do a Zelda Sheik thing.
Yeah, we could like switch in the middle of the fight. So that would have been cool too. Endings, none of the character endings were really satisfying. This isn't really a story game.
Really not story driven. I just keep going back to Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, they were a little bit more.
The whole CG adventure in the Brawl game.
Yeah, that was funner because you actually had a story to go through.
You had characters actually intermingling, separating and joining other people, and then separating and then joining people they were originally with. So
if you really wanted to knock off something for Super Smash Bros., you should have taken that instead of the fighting polygons.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like they didn't want to be Super Smash Brothers, and that made them not look at what Super Smash Brothers did well.
Yeah. So
they just, we're not Super Smash Brothers. We're not going to do anything that they do.
And then, like at the end, they were like, "Shit, we got to finish this boss fight thing." Fuck, what did Super Smash Bros. Do again? Oh, they had a fighting polygon team. That's right. Let's do that.
It's like, okay, we understand, but please steal from people, because that's what any great person does.
Get the good ideas.
Yeah, they steal the good things, and then they put their own spin on it.
Yeah, you could have done that. And finally, the DLC and updates. Really, what keeps us coming back?
Yeah, because they've been good about it. They release characters.
They're pretty regular about it.
New stages.
Which are always fun. The medieval one was actually pretty fun. It's a big AP dropper though.
I don't like the medieval one. I die a lot on that stage because when it goes to the unfinished swan part, I forget. I can't see my projectiles or other people's, especially Isaac's move. His level 1 super always gets me when that happens. It's invisible there. Because I'm like, oh wait, and then.
But I think it's fun. It's a fun stage. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that gets buffed, a lot of stuff that gets nerfed, which makes you want to come back and be like, oh, let me see what that does to the fighting.
And I mean, it means that they're obviously passionate about the game because they keep making changes to it, so they keep wanting to improve.
They want it to be the best game possible.
Yeah.
Alright, and one last thing, the character switch glitch.
The character switch glitch happened to me probably a week ago, but the fact that it still happens,
it's something that should have been fixed by now, because it's been since the beginning. Where you're fighting, you pick somebody, then when you go into the fight, you're somebody else. Like,
so the game is telling, like, no.
No, you go ahead and play as him.
He hasn't gotten enough attention.
Alright, so that's it, guys. Score-wise, with all its faults, it's still something that keeps pulling us back, so that says something about the game itself. Yeah,
all it takes is one really good match is all it takes
to keep
me coming back to it. So
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Solid 4. Alright, well, thanks for sitting through all that.
I think we probably did better than we thought.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be longer, but we might have made some good time on this. We'll see. Like, subscribe, comment, let us know what we said right or wrong.
Let us know if you hate us for comparing this with Super Smash Brothers. I mean, I think it's unavoidable, but you know. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other.
This one has its own thing.
Because it's different enough to where you can't.
Yeah. So, yeah. Stay fancy, guys. Take care.